Hi there, ciao a tutti. I'm Caterina and I'm from Italy. In this video I want to help you improve your pronunciation, and my very simple goal today is to help you sound like a true Italian. Living abroad, I realize how so many people really love Italy, Italian language, food, art, culture, traditions. Many people embark on the journey of learning Italian. They maybe do it in the classical ways, maybe like reading books, going to lessons, they use apps, etc. The reasons can also be different. Maybe you have Italian roots and you want to get closer to your relatives in Italy or to your roots. Simply, maybe you want to travel to Italy, or maybe you just want to learn the language because you like it. So today I'm here to help you improve your pronunciation and your speaking, not necessarily to make it perfect. I don't think, to be honest, you need to be perfect, but if you want to sound like a pro, if you want to sound like a true Italian, I believe this video will help you. On a funny note, many people think that by making gestures they just sound or maybe look like Italians, but that's not really true. I mean, yes, apparently we make quite a lot of hand gestures. That's not enough to be understood. And by the way, we'll just talk about this later. So, as some of you might know already, Italian reading and speaking is quite simple when it comes to seeing the letters, because we don't really have exceptions. It's not really like English language where maybe the same combination of vowels or letters could be pronounced differently. If two letters are close to each other, they will always be pronounced in the same way. So I want to start by talking about vowels, because in Italian language they are quite important, and we have 5 vowels: a, e, I, o, u. They are quite simple. I believe they are simple to pronounce, but correct me if I'm wrong. I guess it always depends on your native language. You can even try to pronounce them with me. It's a, e, I, o, u. They are always pronounced the same way, more or less. There's just a couple of them, e and o, that they can be pronounced by Italian native speakers either like in a closed way or in an open way. I'll make you an example. For example, the closed one would be e and the open one would be e. But it doesn't really matter for you. If you are learning Italian, just you can say a, e, I, o, u. So as I said, if you see vowels in a word, you can just pronounce as I have just mentioned. There is no exception, and it's pretty easy and straightforward to pronounce. So let's move immediately to point number 2, double consonants. I know this can already be slightly more challenging for some people. Very often I see mistakes, for example, in the menus of restaurants when I travel abroad or even where I live, because I'm living in Slovakia. I can see that if an Italian word has like a double consonants, which happens quite often, then either they write it with just one, or sometimes they write it with 2 consonants when the actual word would be just with 1. So I understand this could be a bit trickier for you to maybe get in terms of even like listening and understanding it, and as a consequence in terms of pronouncing the word. So when it comes to the double consonant, pay attention, because 2 very similar words could mean 2 completely different things just because of the double consonant or single consonant. For example, the word pala and palla. I hope you can hear the difference, so I will repeat it once again. Pala with 1 L and palla with 2 L. The first one in English means shovel, and the second one means bowl. So, as I said, 2 completely different words. They look very similar, but one has only 4 letters because it only has 1 L, and the second one has 5 letters in total because the L are 2. I think when it comes to the double consonant, it's all a matter of practice and of course of knowing the word. So you should not only focus on the vocabulary itself and maybe learning how the word simply looks like and learning how to write it, but also learning how to pronounce it. You can maybe try to slow down when you speak. You could just practice the single words without putting them together into a sentence and really like enhancing the double consonant. Maybe you can even exaggerate. I'll make another example. Corro. It means I run. It's not corro corro with only one R means another thing. So corro, I run. Just try to repeat it and pronounce it, exaggerating a little bit, but you will see that you will sound Italian in no time. Point number 4 is the rolling R or rolling R. I just wanted to exaggerate it here a little bit. I know this can be quite tricky, for example, for English speakers, French speakers, or speakers of any language that doesn't have this sound. But trust me, sometimes can be a bit challenging also for some Italian that maybe don't really manage to pronounce it in a rolling way. It's just a matter of how you put your tongue in the mouth, and of course for us we just learn it as kids. When we are very small, we don't really pay attention to it. Just try to exaggerate even here. Just try to say like r in this way, and also in this case it's just a matter of experience. I don't think it's fundamental. You could be understood even if you don't manage to pronounce this letter, so don't worry. But if you just want to sound like a pro, you can just try and train and improve this rolling R. Point number 5, it's quite important in my opinion, and it's about talking with emotions, let's say, with melody. Okay, this one as well is not fundamental, but you are watching this video because you wanna sound like a true Italian, so you can also try to put better, let's say, intonations when it comes to speaking. I will make an example. If you say ciao, it means hello. I said it in a very random way. You don't really sound enthusiastic. On the contrary, if you say ciao, of course, that's much more enthusiastic. Maybe you saw someone after a long time, so it just sounds different. It's the same word, the same meaning, but your intonation will simply give it a different nuance. Or if you ask come stai, that means how are you? Maybe you know already that that person is not really doing well because you are asking it with some kind of pitiful intonation. While if you ask come stai, you're enthusiastic of seeing that person. Maybe you are surprised, even yourself, like you will look happier, let's say. So my suggestion would be play with your intonation. This requires a lot of practice and possibly with native speakers, but it's not impossible, at least to improve. And I believe you should always strive to improve. Even if you don't become perfect, I think with the time, with consistency and with effort, of course, you will improve for sure. And on this topic, you probably know that also in Italy we have a lot of dialects. Why am I mentioning this at this point? Because Italian dialects, they are a lot, and not only they have different words sometimes, but also the intonation, the way people talk, the music of the speech can be different. So if you want to practice with a native speaker, I know I'm going to a bit higher level, but I think it's still important to tell you that if you think or if someone tells you that they have a very strong accent, maybe try, just to practice with someone that doesn't really have a very strong accent or a very specific intonation. It's not really a problem, but you will get used to that intonation. While if you maybe listen to a more neutral tone, for example, watching the news or some videos online, then you'll get the most maybe standard intonation and way of talking. It's very, very interesting in my opinion to listen to dialects and to know more or less how they are structured in Italy. I might even do a different video on them if you'd like. As I said, we have tons of them, but if you are interested to this topic, I might do a video about it. Before ending this video, I want to mention a couple of common pitfalls that you should avoid if you want to sound like a true Italian. So the number 1 is to avoid pronouncing silent letters. In Italian, we do not have silent letters. We do not have, for example, like in English, in the word knife, it's written with a K, but the K is not pronounced. So when you are talking or reading in Italian, to avoid any doubt, or if you have any doubt, just say whatever you see in the letter. Again, we don't have silent letters. Another suggestion, or maybe another thing that you should avoid, don't rush. I know that sometimes you just would like to speak fluently as soon as possible. I understand this very well because I'm studying some languages as well, and I would just like to be fluent in no time, but it's not that difficult, and sometimes it's better to focus on quality rather than on quantity. So take your time, practice and you'll see that you'll improve a lot with the time. The third point is, I think, very good suggestions. If you see the letter G, N, don't pronounce them as gn. The correct sound is ñ. And if you see the letters G, L, don't say gl, but say ly. I know it can be challenging, but that's how it should be pronounced. And in my past video about Italian pronunciation, I was focusing also on those combinations of letters. Let me know in the comments below if you're facing any specific challenge in Italian, or whether you would maybe like to see a video on some specific topics of the Italian language. You can maybe write your comment in Italian and tell me what is your current level of this beautiful language. Wait, quick reality check. I promised you I was gonna talk about gestures. You don't really need to wave like crazy when talking in Italian. I know many people, even in real life, that sometimes imitate Italians. They even do it in front of me and they're just like doing this, but that looks a bit strange to us, to be honest. It's not offensive, of course. I mean, feel free to do it. It's fun. I'm doing it myself as well right now, but it's not really what we do. And I know that, yes, we move apparently when we talk quite a lot, but do not exaggerate, especially if you're talking to an Italian. You don't really need to do that. Just focus on your words and your pronunciation and it will be much appreciated, I'm sure of that. So again, just keep it natural, don't exaggerate it, don't overdo it. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave it a like, subscribe to my YouTube channel to see additional videos each week. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Ciao!